What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Kitchen Chronicles. Just myself tonight. I think Rich needs to hire a few more guys, and maybe he'll get a night off. I'm not sure where Jason's at, but we'll get it anyways. We don't need them. So,
I am here.
yeah, today we have a very special guest, Everything HVACR, Stephen Smith. And we're going to talk about, YouTube and everything he does and his videos. And I'm a big fan of him. He likes to leave things better than he found it. He's got a like mind like me. He wants to do the job right, do the job well, and do it to the best of his abilities. And I think people like that are really going to succeed in this world. And he's sharing his knowledge online, and figured we'd have him on and talk about it. So what's going on, man? Nice to finally meet you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
I like that shirt, man.
Yeah, this is a vintage, like 5 years ago. I think I won this on Chris's live stream one night.
Nice. Everybody used to do that stuff, give some stuff away occasionally. Chris is a good dude. He was on last week, and I think I could have him on every week and talk like 3 hours. Like, I don't think we hardly talked work, though. That was the funny thing. It was like everything but work. I think we mixed a little bit in there, but it was just like, a little bit here or there. It was just nice to catch up and talk and
Yeah,
a little bit.
sometimes just catching up's nice. So
yeah. So what's going on with you, man?
well, I work for KCC, and we build manufacture train branded DOAS unit. So dedicated outdoor air system, basically. You see a lot of them out there. You guys see them in restaurants all the time. Captive Air, Green Heck, Valiant, they're Aeon, all those. We're in that same realm.
So how'd you get wrapped up into that?
Well, I actually worked for our service department for the last basically 2 decades, which is just a local service department here in Kentucky that we do just like y'all do, restaurant refrigeration, larger refrigeration. We worked on process chillers. We did all kinds of work. The company started manufacturing and working with Train. I don't know. I wouldn't even guess on how many years ago, but I've been with them for a long time, and just had an opportunity to move over and start working with the equipment we build right here. So it's been nice to learn something and attempt to become an expert at something. I worked on so much random stuff before. It was hard to be or feel like you were an expert on any one thing.
Yeah, that's the rough part, man, because there is a ton of stuff out there, and you just, when you get pretty comfortable at it, you quit seeing that brand or you go work on something else for a while. It's wild, the different brands and how everyone does the same thing, but they do it so different. It's wild out there.
Yeah, you get used to working on certain things, and it's not that bad when you understand it fully, but some of these systems are, can be complicated. It's not that bad when you understand it, but when you're just walking up on it, it can be a tough task to diagnose some of this stuff.
Yeah, I remember the first time I walked up to a makeup air unit or a DOAS, and like I see a condensing unit sitting on top of it, and then I opened it up and it was like variable speed drive motors and all kinds of stuff. I was like, what did I get into? And then I realized I'm there to do a startup, and like my boss is like, oh, you're supposed to grab this box they sent. And I was like, what is this? And I grab it, and it's like they want me to set the airspeed and balance it. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing with this, dude. Like, what do you want me to do? I can make sure it runs. That's about it. Like, I can't balance it. Like, oh, they sent videos. I'm like, videos? Like, you want me to balance this thing from videos on YouTube? I was like, you guys are crazy.
There's a lot of information out there that, some of them have great support too. We have great support. We support our products out there. We're currently growing. I manage the field support team, so we're supporting the technicians in the field, the customers in the field that have these, and some of them just need a little knowledge. You know how it is. You go to a customer, some of them just need some education on how it works, set points and stuff like that. It can be a little tricky when you're bringing in outside air.
Yeah, so the brand I work on, I work on a lot. I worked on Green Heck and so many others, but the one I deal with mostly, it's air conditioned and treated air, is Accurex. And they've been putting a bunch in around my area. So
Nice.
we do some startups and stuff on those, and that was the company like, oh, they wanted me to balance it. And I was like, what? Like, and it was wild because it's not Top Golf, but it's like Top Golf, so it's like all open concept and stuff. I'm like, do I really need to balance this thing? Like, this kitchen's open pretty much to the outdoor elements. Like,
Probably not if it's open like that. I mean, it needs to, as long as you're maintaining your pressure where you need it, you're going to be all right.
yeah,
It
it
can
was
be
just,
it can be tricky sometimes though, especially with somewhere like that. It's not like your normal kitchen would be.
yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, I got it close and no one complained, and the factory is happy, so that's all that matters. But yeah, come to think about it, I think I have seen some KCC units on the roof, and I was like, what's that? I wasn't up there working on that, but I think I've seen them, like,
Well, we manufacture roof curbs too, so you've probably seen our roof curbs.
probably bought some of your roof curbs, to be honest.
Yeah, we have RRU, which is a train Voyager that they just add they can add ERV and an outdoor air too, and we put some controls in it and we modify that, and so you'll see some of those out there on a lot of restaurants. That's RRU restaurant unit, and then the Horizon is our larger. We build up to 80 ton, so you get them in a lot of manufacturing plants, all kinds of different places. You see some on restaurants, but factories and all kinds of anywhere that needs makeup air, your large airports and stuff like that. You got to have outside air coming in.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we get all when we do rooftop units, we do get our curbs out of Kentucky. So I don't know how many companies are down there making it, but
It's probably us.
probably. That's cool. So you were in the field working for them for 20 years, 20 plus years, correct?
Yeah, I was probably 19, 20s probably, but I've been around for about 20 years total.
Nice, nice. So you've seen a lot of things in those 20 years, I bet.
Yeah, yes, I have.
Some things you're probably ashamed to talk about, and some things you're probably proud to talk about. I get it. I've been there. I'm right at 20 years in the field. Um, and, I still see things every day that I'm like, what is this? Or how did this happen? Or, why did they think this was going to work? I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot going on good for the trade now, and it's a good place to be because if you'll show up, put a little effort and a good attitude forward, you're going to be okay.
so Brian Sanders, friend of the show, he said he just installed 2 rooftop units and used KCC curves.
Nice.
So there you go. So they're out there. Man, it's been a while since I've done a rooftop unit. I think I had a memory come up. The last one was like 5 or 6 years ago. Was today? I think it popped up on Facebook, and I was mad because I got caught in a thunderstorm. It just absolutely poured on me. I think I ruined phone and tools that day. Like, it was a bad day. If you got a hole in the roof, though, you don't have much choice. You got to do.
Yeah, something's got to get on top of the hole.
That's the weird thing. Like, the crane company's like, "Hey, we're setting another job in the same city this day. We can come there around 10." Well, they showed up at like 1, and I'm like, I've been sitting there since 10, like waiting. Everything's hooked. I'm like, let's pull this thing. I'm like, man, it's looking awfully dark. And as soon as we get the other one yanked off, I'm like, all hell broke loose. I was like, hurry up, hook it up, let's get it up here. And just an hour in the rain, just sitting there, just hating life. And of course,
2 hour minimum. You could have tried to wait it out at first.
yeah, well, it was an hour and a half from their home base. So we're paying, hour and a half at least. So it is what it is. It sucked, but I still remember this day. I still remember this to this day because it was the rooftop we pulled off was the last one in the line. So it had that little bitty bleed resistor for the smoke detector.
Yeah.
And I set it on top and it fell off. And I actually found it in the parking lot. Like, it got washed off by the rain in the parking lot. I actually found it. I was freaking out. I was like, oh, great. Here we go. And I was like walking around the parking lot all mad, soaking wet, being a baby. And I looked down and I seen that resistor. And I was like, oh, it's like a sign.
That's a pretty good sign. And if you find a resistor like that,
yeah.
Half time you drop a screw, you can't find the damn thing again.
So I do have a funny story about a rooftop unit. It was the same. It wasn't that. It was the same, time frame. We had a customer. We changed like 3 or 4 for it. But I'm sitting there, and there's another thing where the crane showed up like halfway through the day. He's like, "Hey, we got one in the area. We'll just split the charge so you don't pay for 8." Cool, whatever. So the guy shows up and like humongous crane. It's like one of the ones where like the jibs on a trailer behind it. It's like, I'm like, dude, it's only like a 15-ton rooftop unit. Like, what? Well, I was just down the road and they sent me over here. And I was like, whatever, dude. So they had redone the roof like a couple years earlier, and they wrapped the rubber up around the curb adapter. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. So I cut it, and I couldn't see it, but they screwed the curb adapter to the curb, and I didn't know it. So I'm like, I hook up to it, and the guy's pulling, and all of a sudden I'm like, man, it's like this thing's struggling. And I was like, and all of a sudden I heard boom,
Boom.
rip the curb off the roof. And he's like, well, I thought it was pretty heavy for a curb. And I was like, dude, it's like maybe you should have stopped. Like, hey, this is pulling a little hard. Oh, dude, I wasn't in trouble, but it's just like
Yeah. I mean,
never seen a curb screwed down.
that's just stuff happens, man. I've got video of a 100-ton IntelliPack coming up, and the crane guy's he's trying to boom up, and finally he gets so far he can't, so he's trying to reel it in a little bit, and then he booms a little bit to one side, and you hear the same thing, it boom, and it goes, and it's like coming straight at me. It's like get the hell out the way.
Yeah, so I had a Chuck E. Cheese that only had like 3 out of their 4 units running for like 2 weeks while the construction company came and fixed the curb on the roof and everything else.
It happens. You never can tell, man.
No, so now I like double check, man. Well, they wrapped that rubber around there so you couldn't see it, and it was underneath the rubber back. And I was like, oh, dude, there's screws everywhere. I'm like, who does this? And like, man, like,
I mean, I don't know that I've seen the curbs like that, but you gotta be careful because I've had guys lift them up before with the gas line comes up in the center, like where your electrical would come on a train, and they popped it up and it broke loose below, and then they're luckily nobody was in the building, but everybody was losing their minds for a little while.
like who could run off the roof the fastest and find that shut off?
Yeah, I was in a lift and it had a cap on it pretty quick, but it was it was one of those. Everybody go.
Yeah, I don't get in that situation too much. We rarely do any comfort air. Most everything's kitchen stuff. We're cooling products. We're hoods or makeup airs. Condensing units, stuff like that. But the most we do, like I said, occasionally we'll get a customer wants it done, and we can do it, but it's not something we specialize in.
If you can do the refrigeration stuff, man, you can do the AC stuff. The DOAS is a little more complicated. There's the program working to treat that outside air, so you got to be aware of a lot more set points and stuff. But for the most part, once you understand stuff, the reefer side seems to be maybe the least known sometimes. I feel like within the younger generation of the trade, like fully understanding what's happening, and that can take time to wrap your brain around too.
Yeah. So, do you guys do gas heat too, or how do you guys?
Yeah, it's a package unit. It's engineered to order most of the time. So an engineer draws it up and says, "Hey, this is what we want." It can have every bell and whistle you want on it. ERV, exhaust, reheat. Almost everything has reheat in it. So we do you're bringing in outside air, you got to dehum it pretty good. So
okay, so it's pretty much just an air handler just sucking straight outside air versus, okay.
It's like Aon does similar things with their 100% outside air, and we incorporate a return air too, so we can't have return from the building and use it as a rooftop with just like an economizer, or you can bring in 100% outside air or a mixture of both.
Nice, that makes sense then. So that's cool. So, what are some of the things you've worked on in the last 20 years? I'm sure it's a little bit of everything, but anything sticks out in particular that you enjoyed, that you didn't enjoy, that you're glad you don't work on anymore? Just
well, I mean,
nice about everybody. I mean, we all have our brands we don't like or dislike. We're not here to dog anybody out. We're like, hey, I wouldn't have done it this way though.
I mean, there's a lot of that, right? Like people are designing this stuff. I'm seeing, the manufacturing side of it now. So it is interesting to see how in depth everything is done and the engineering behind it, the condenser coil, the specific design of it, and the rifling of the tubes. And it's interesting to see from that side, but there's a lot that you go look at and go, why would you do it that way? Or why would you put that there? And I mean, I guess the easy answer you learn over the years is that they're not really worried about you working on it. It works when it leaves the factory and when it gets installed, as long as it's set up right, and it's on you to figure it out from there.
Yeah, it's on you to make it to fix it if it does go down. I work on a lot of kitchen equipment, and I've been to a lot of classes, and some companies actually pride themselves on bringing engineers in to like answer questions and explain why they do things certain ways. And it's really cool that companies do that and give that opportunity out there, because I mean, some of this stuff's like absolutely insane. But then
Yeah.
once you ask an engineer and he explains to you why they had to do it that way, it's like, oh, it makes sense. Like, they're not out here purposely trying to make your life
Yeah.
harder. Now, some of them are clueless and don't understand, and like it was easier for them to build it this way. But in reality, they're not trying to make your life harder, even though it seems that way.
Yeah, well, and our team works with our program too, so it's been cool to have some influence on, talking to some of these engineers and saying, well, asking the question, why do you do it like that? Why should we try it like this? And I've been able to be on that side of it, and it's been interesting. But there are a lot out there, like you said, you look at it and it's like, man, what the hell? But
Yeah, I've had days where like, man, if I knew where this thing was made at and knew the engineer designed it, guy, I would literally fight him.
yeah, I've worked on just about everything over the years, so I got PTSD from the kitchen stuff, but that I don't mind the larger stuff. It's the small reach-ins. We did work for a chain early on. It was not a great chain, and it was not well kept. They didn't keep things clean, so you're down in the middle of the grease-filled floor under a fryer working on something that you really shouldn't be. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah, there's some of this stuff is like, this makes zero sense, and like they don't even care. And it just seems like a lot of the stuff that's like knockoff stuff or improprietary
Yeah.
stuff is like
It's a recipe to get it fixed as quickly as possible, but not, it's working. You
yeah,
got to see you later.
like I swear some of this copper tubing you look at wrong at bends. I'm like, how? Like I didn't even touch it. Like, how'd that break off? Like, I'm charging it
You be careful with some of that old stuff.
all the new stuff, and I try to explain to guys
Yeah.
all the time, like the guy's like, oh, these new things are just junk. I'm like, no. I was like, a lot of this is because this has to meet certain energy standards, and if the copper is too thick, it doesn't transfer heat as well, so they have to cut back on the size of the copper. And like you try to explain to people, and they refuse to understand that that's the reason. They just oh, it's the propane. The propane's eating the copper. I'm like,
Well, some of it's, I mean, it's not that, but I mean, some of it is.
mhm.
It could be done differently, but some of it's just the parts, right? Like they don't. It's not like we manufacture the coils,
No,
or, you know what I mean, or the blower motor for that matter that goes in it, or what the VFD. Those parts are bought from somewhere,
mm,
and sometimes things fail.
yeah,
I would agree they're not maybe like they used to be, but I mean, this stuff if it's taken care of well and
mm,
set up correctly in the first place, like it works pretty well. The big thing is taking care of it, because nobody wants to take care of anything. They wait till it's gone to hell and then they call you.
yeah, oh yeah. That's my world. That's my world. I just picked up an account and we just did the PM there for the first time, and I was like, "When was the last time you guys did PM?" This place been
What?
open 7 years. Like, oh, this is our first PM. I'm like, oh, half the stuff is
I,
away. I'm like,
yeah, no, I mean it's like the whole the residential is like, have you changed your filter? What filter? Yeah, same idea. It's just commercial side.
it's amazing what people in these restaurants think, and then like all of a sudden they want you to work miracles. I'm like, dude, this thing's 7 years old and looks 20. Like, maybe you ought to replace it. Oh no, get it running. I'm like, I'm telling you, maybe you ought to replace it for a reason. Like,
Well, I mean, some of it is like I found over the years that sometimes it's not in the budget to replace, right? Like they have it in the budget to spend. Hey, we can spend $10,000 on a damn thing. We just can't spend 20 on a new one.
yeah,
So fix it. And I mean, that's all right. If that's what you want to do. But it is you can only sometimes they just need some education, and you just got to work with them. We fixed a lot of things over the years.
yeah. We talk about that for you online. Guys just telling customers, they don't know what they're doing when the customer's never been trained or properly showed how to use something or take care of something. um, I never tell a customer they just know what they're doing. Like did it, I always ask, did anyone show you how to do this? Did anyone tell you about this filter on the back? Like, I do a lot of work on these um, companies called Turbo Chef or Mary Chef, two different companies that make them, but they're speed ovens. Like Subway has them. It's what they put your sandwich in to toast them. It's a high temperature oven and a microwave in one, and they have filters on the back, and it says clean these filters weekly, and like I'll pull filters off. I'm like, this thing's 3 years old. I'm like, did you guys? I'm like, the shipping screw's still in there. I'm like, hey, did anyone tell you got to clean these filters? Like, filters, what are you talking about? I was like, this. Like, we seen that screw back there. We thought it had to stay on. I'm like, no, it's a shipping screw. Like, you're supposed to take that out and like clean this filter weekly. And like, they wonder
And
why they're getting mag overheat errors and like this thing's not cooking. I'm like, hopefully I can clean this filter and it works. If not, I'm going to pull the unit apart and clean it out. And
I mean, sometimes it's all it takes, and then you not only help the customer, they appreciate it. They're going to call you back the next time, and the filter's hopefully going to be clean, and maybe it's something else. So it goes a long way with customers if you help them out. I mean, they're not, you know, you're on their side, right? Like they're not. Most of them aren't trying to fight with you. They just want the thing fixed.
yeah, there's enough really broke stuff that if I get the customer to take care of their maintenance stuff so that I don't need to do it, make my job a lot easier.
Hmm. Yeah, you'd be surprised. That's everywhere. Nobody takes care of it. Water's even worse. Like the water side start dealing with different. Like it amazes me that people have water systems with pumps and boilers and chillers, and nobody ever says that. Hey, maybe you should treat the water. And I don't know how that gets overlooked every time.
Yeah, I see guys online, YouTube videos or social media where like they're cleaning chillers or they're showing like towers like no one's treated the water and the water is like eating away the metal. Like it's amazing like how corrosive water can actually be.
Yeah.
And then I deal with that on my side and like combi ovens and stuff. They'll want to like run pure RO water through stainless. I'm like, you don't want to do that. Like, oh no, we want pure RO. We don't want any lime scale in there. I'm like, you're gonna get rust, but okay, whatever. Like,
I mean, that water is misunderstood a lot of times, unfortunately. I've seen some nasty ones too.
yeah, I got a hospital. They had combis that are like 3 years old, and their water. I don't. It's not even it. The RO is blended right and everything because they get some other stuff that senses water, so it's blended right. But there's something in that water where it's eating all the stainless in the entire hospital. Like I started showing the maintenance guy. I'm like, dude, what's up with this? He goes, hey, he's like, I found it in this and this and this. He's like, I found this in like 4 other places in the hospital. I was like, dude, what is in your water? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm about to get someone out here to check this water treatment system. He's like, I haven't
Yeah.
they put it in. And I said, well, it's eating your combi ovens, dude. It's eating the welds and it's just spreading from there. I was like, this is wild.
But you caught a big issue there that they needed to correct because they're going to have other problems. Those aren't the only things. So, I mean, it's one of those things that goes a long way with customers. We used to contract out most of the water treatment stuff too, and we would call people and say, "Hey, we need you to come over here," and you hook a customer up with another good contractor who's going to come out and do a good job for them. You got a customer for life.
Yeah, my biggest thing with water is generally I just get a sample, send it off. I'm like, hey, tell me what I need, and they send back, hey, you need this, they ask you what it's going on, what it's used for, how many gallons a day, rough usage, and treat it that way. But I could only imagine, treating water going into a cooling tower or a big chiller or something, man, that's a ton of water. And I mean, that's a lot of money though. I mean, think about it. You got a big chiller and you eat through something, get water in that refrigerant, you're done. And that's just like, it's hundreds, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, to, fix it or replace it. It's just,
Yeah, that's usually when you get to the larger equipment like that, there is maintenance procedures in place, and they usually are taking care of things, but even things there can get out of whack. I've worked on some larger chillers that, they just had water problems and the water just kind of got out of hand on them. And, with the proper cleaning and a lot of work, we cleaned it up, but it took some time. And it affected a lot of things over multiple buildings. Like we knew it was going to be but I prepared them for it. I said, look, this is not going to be, I can't snap my fingers and make this, perfect.
mm-hmm.
It's going to take some time.
So what are some of the favorite things you've worked on over the years?
I do like working on some of the larger equipment. Some of the larger chillers are fun to work on. I enjoyed that. The controls, I liked working with controls, which I'm still working with now. We use Train controls, which, Train likes to be proprietary with their stuff, but they're good controls. They work well, and I do enjoy working with those. But I've done a lot of things. I liked little process chillers because it wasn't a whole lot of thinking. You get real precise when you start dealing with the larger chillers. The process chillers are more kind of like your reefer stuff. You go in, there's no wire diagram. There's nobody else that's going to come work on it. The manual's not there. The wire diagram's in Japanese or German. You just get your hands dirty and figure it out.
Yep, just start tearing into it, tracing wires, seeing what it goes through, seeing what it does.
It's typically water flow. I mean, it's not. You start with the basics, right? It's master of the obvious, and you work your way out. if you go in and you see the burnt up wire or whatever, you got to start with that anyways. You got to start with the clean coil. You got to start with clean filters. You can't diagnose something that's not been taken care of. So
Yeah, my son, he works with me. He's been doing hot side for like a little over 3 years. He's wanting to get into refrigeration. And he's like asking me all these questions. I'm like, look, dude, I'm like 98% of my job's electrical. I'm like it's most of the time it's a bad fan motor, short in the wiring, a bad thermostat, burn up wiring, defrost timer,
yeah,
defrostation switch. I'm like 98 to 99% of the time it's electrical. And then occasionally there's that 1%, 2% time where it's actual refrigeration issue. And then, then you got to dig into it a little different way, but start with
yeah,
electrical. And I always tell them, airflow before charge. If you get to, the electrical, everything's good, make sure everything's clean. Make sure your evaporator's clean, your fans are running. Make sure your condenser's clean, your fans are running. Don't ever throw gauges on something if you see dirty coils or something stuck against there. To clean it first, see what it does, give it every chance to run on its own before you get involved in it.
yeah. I mean, it's the kind of that way. It's that way with everything. You just got to start with the basics and work your way through. Most of the time, it's not that difficult. And I think we miss that sometimes. We try to overcomplicate things, and you miss the obvious stuff. So that's usually where I would try to start. Get it clean first. Go from there.
That's when I always screw up the most, is like when I overthink it and I skip the obvious stuff, and then like next thing you know, I'm like 20 steps ahead, and I'm calling somebody like, "Did you check that?" I'm like, "It's not that," and then I go back, I'm like, "Why didn't I check that?" I'm like, "That was stupid of me." I'm like, "I'm an idiot. I've done all this crazy stuff and I didn't need to do it. It's just dirty."
You can waste time like that too. I mean, it's understanding the basic components and operation. You don't have to know exactly how the thing works. You know it has to transfer heat. So whatever that medium is, if it's water or air, it has to be flowing, or it has to be clean. Water's got strainers, condenser fans. Are they running full speed? Are they running at all? Is one of them running backwards? Like you understand that has to happen. You got to have airflow. Start with the basics, work your way out.
Nice. So you said you did a little bit of restaurant. Did you do much R290 stuff, or did you ever get a play?
I've had a few of those on the tail end. It's getting bigger and bigger now, but yeah, I didn't really have too many problems with it. It's just like anything else. You know your PT chart.
Yeah,
You start with the basic stuff, and
that's
you
what
know
gets
you,
me. Is people like freak out about it. I'm like, dude, it's a refrigerant. Like, you just gotta make sure you got it all out of the system and purge with nitrogen before you braise. I mean, it's like it's nothing. It's nothing you should
well,
be doing anyways. Really, I mean,
yeah, it's what you should have been doing for years, and that we got away with a lot with R22 and some of the older stuff. I mean, everybody lost their minds when we went to 410A.
Mhm.
I mean, it's normal now, so they're losing their minds about A2Ls, and you guys are dealing with propane.
Yeah, I the E2L guys, man, I always screw with them. I'm like, dude, like, you want to play some propane? Like, this stuff really catches on fire.
This will burn. This will explode.
Your stuff's like in a lab, and you have to like pretty much be perfect conditions to get it to do something. I'm like, this stuff
Yeah.
catch on fire.
Well, it's crazy the millions of dollars that they had to spend to adapt the manufacturing plant to be able to exhaust that. So there's exhaust systems that had to go everywhere if you're manufacturing and putting an A2L in. So there's refrigerant detection systems everywhere now, just like there is in all the equipment. And they're still driving forklifts around with the A3 on the back of it, but there's an exhaust system for the A2L.
It kills me. It kills me. I teach refrigeration, basic refrigeration class a couple times a year, and I have a blast. But like the Pro R290 stuff, I love. Like, I explain to the guys or gals in the class, and they, a lot of them don't have any experience. They kind of freak out about it. I'm like, look, cut everything out. Dump the charge, purge nitrogen. How I teach it is okay. I know I got to change a compressor. I'm under a hood or I'm somewhere I don't have to worry about it. It's like I bring in my tool bag and nitrogen and a hose. And if there's not a gauge, if there's not a hookup on there, I put a temporary one on there. I cut the other side, I hook the nitrogen up, put it on purge, let it run. I bring in everything else. And when I'm done, I come back in, I check for gas. If I'm not getting hits, my gas checker on the other side, I unhook it. I cut everything out and I get to work. It's like, it's that easy. It's like, that's all you got.
It saves the recovery process, doesn't it? I mean, that makes it nice itself.
Well, it's 3 to 5 ounces. Like, it's
It was the same with our with 134, but it's like you hook your whole system up to run for like a minute, and then you've got 8 ounces recovered.
yeah.
That you're not going to reuse. I mean, I wouldn't usually put it back in there. I'm putting new in.
And half the charge is in your recovery machine.
Yeah.
Just, like, I always killed me with, like, because I do a lot of small restaurant, like single door, half size reach ins and stuff, and it's all. I mean, it's been critical charge for years, and everyone loses their mind when they see an R290 that has taps on it. I'm like, it's not illegal. Oh yeah, it's illegal to have taps on it. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, it's like they've been sealing off critically charged units for years. I said the reason they don't want those on there is because it holds 2.5 to 5 ounces, and you got some guy. The first thing he does is walks up with those 4 6-foot hoses on there and
You're done.
low on charge. No, your hoses hold 1/4 ounce per foot, bud. Where's that refrigerant? In your manifold.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, just leave the gauges away. You don't need gauges. Half the time, you don't need gauges.
no, I don't even bring mine in on the refrigeration call. Like, I leave them on the truck on purpose because if they're there, it's tempting. So I make sure I got somebody to check temperature with. I'll have a clamp I can plug into my meter, or I carry just like one like wireless clamp in, and I'll bring in an air probe, and I'm like, I'm checking discharge temperature out of the compressor. I'm checking temperature coming out of the condenser coil, temperature coming out of the evaporator coil. I'm checking Amtrol. I'm like, oh, okay, there's something wrong here. I'm low on charge. Okay, now
You can tell what it's doing with just those temperatures. I mean, even before you pull the temp probe out, like just feeling. It's like get your hands in there and like be careful what you're grabbing, obviously, but you need to feel and see what it's doing.
Yeah, I mean, like your hands are your best tools. Now mine are kind of jacked up because I burn them so much in kitchens, but I can still sense temperature pretty well. But a lot of things I can't feel anymore. I get trouble all the time because I'll make a video and work will see it. Like, why aren't you wearing gloves? I'm like, dude, I can't feel anything without gloves on. You make me put a glove on, try putting a screw back in something. It ain't gonna happen, guys. I'm sorry.
I never was a gloves guy either. I had beat up hands for a long time. It's yeah, I had to feel what I was working on, and I would tell the guy, I'll use all of your senses. You can smell an electrical burn. You can hear a hissing sound or a buzzing sound.
Yeah.
Like know what you're listening for, what you're looking for, what you're smelling for, and feel around the system.
Yeah. My favorite thing is you open up a walk-in cooler door and you hear that hiss. I'm like, oh, we got a leak. And they're like, how do you know that? I'm like, you hear that? They're like, yeah.
It doesn't sound like that typically.
It doesn't have a full column of liquid going to that, that metering device. It's feeding vapor. So it's, instead of boiling off halfway through the coil, it's boiling off at the metering device. Or it's, feeding vapor through the metering device. And, start explaining stuff to guys, and then you go up on the roof. I'm like, oh, sight glass is full. I'm like, oh no, that sight glass is empty. Watch this. Put a little gas in there. Like, oh, I just seen some go through. I'm like, yeah. See, I told you it was empty. So
that might be the hardest thing to decipher. I can't even talk. If your sight glass is full or empty.
Yeah, it's got me a few times in a hurry. Like I walk by and look like, oh, sight glass is full, and then like I go in the box. I'm like, I hear, I'm like, oh, that sight glass is empty. Yeah, that's a hard one to distinguish. It's bit me in the butt several times.
Those are the things the young guys need to know, because like once you hear that once, or once you see that once, you'll start thinking about it. Next time next time you look like a genius because, well, I've seen that before, or you figure something out. You see it once, the next time it's like, I know exactly what that is. Service is kind of like that. You just got to do it sometimes to learn it. But if we can share some of those stories, it's good for some of the young guys that maybe not haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I love training new guys and telling them, hey, don't do that. And then they're like, why? I was like, well, because I've done that before, and it cost me about 4 or 5 hours or thousands of dollars to fix. So learn from my mistakes. And sometimes they won't listen to you. They still want to do it anyways. I'm like, yeah.
Sometimes you gotta learn hard way.
When you got to fix it, I don't want to hear it because I warned you. Try training your sons. That's a hard one to do.
I don't have sons, or I don't have kids, so but I can imagine. I've got nieces and nephews, and I can imagine that.
It's your sons don't want to listen. They know it all, even though they don't know a damn thing.
Well, that's not just your son. That's kind of everybody his age, probably.
What kills me now is he likes to call me like, oh, I did this. Like, have you done that? I'm like, no. He's like, well, I figured it out. You don't know how to do it. And then the next day he's got to call me. hey, how do I do this? I'm like, dude, this is basic. Like what you did yesterday was so much harder than this, but you're calling me on this, whatever, dude. It's fun though. I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's cool to watch them grow and to watch them struggle.
Yeah,
I
the
think,
struggle's part of it.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The struggle is part of it. It's probably the best part of learning is the struggle. Um, it took me a while. I've trained a lot of guys over the years. It took me a while to stop wanting to rush through and jump in and push them out of the way and just do it when I watch them struggle. And now I'm like, I'm really sitting back behind them, biting my tongue, like I say
It's
something.
hard as a technician to watch somebody diagnose.
Mhm.
It's the beauty of the diagnostic process is everybody's is a little bit different, right? Like we could walk up on the same thing, we're going to diagnose it differently, but it's all everybody's is unique and they're all good. It's just a matter of, and it's hard as a technician to stand back and watch somebody because you're like, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I sit there and watch them when they start getting a little further away from where they need to be. I kind of try to rein them in and bring them back over. Like, hey, let's go back this direction. Um, we've all seen those guys that have done it for 30 plus years. When they train somebody, they just walk in, check this. Okay, that don't work. Let's change it, or we'll order that and we'll be back. I'm like, well, how did you get to that? Well, I've done this before. Well, guess what? They haven't done this before. They don't know what that part is. They don't know how to how you got there. We got to start from the beginning and show them how you got there instead of just walking in and checking power here. I got power here and this ain't working. That's it. I mean,
It's hard for some. I've seen that with technicians too. Good technicians, they're just not always. They're not everybody's going to teach, right?
yeah,
Like some of them are just there. They're going to do their job. They do it well, but they don't want to babysit. I mean, I can understand some of that, but I'm with you. Like we need to slow down. Let's teach them why we're doing something,
mm-hmm.
and kind of help walk them through. What are you hearing right now? You hear that? Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should look at this and just kind of guide them.
Yeah. My favorite thing is like teaching them to check for potential voltage, like across the switch or a fuse. I'm like, oh, I got 0 here and oh, I got 120 here. So, they think the one with 120 is good. I'm like, no, that's not a load, man. That's like a gate, and try to explain it like that on the switch. And like, oh, well, they're like, well, so and so just had me, check continuity. I was like, well, that's cool until you blow up your meter or something. I'm like, but you can just leave
But
it hooked up and it's like voltage across, voltage across. If you have 0, 0, 0, it's good. If you have 120 or 240, like, oh, something's going on.
yeah, that's you got to be very specific about where are your leads because uh, guys check the ground a lot, and that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't. There's times to go to ground.
It's
I
very
get it, but it drives me crazy when we're going to ground. I'm like, let's see specifically what we're so. Um, and sometimes you find problems that way, but you also teach that way. You go, okay, well, you've checked it to ground. Now let's check across and see what you have there, or across the contact, like you said. So different ways to do it.
that's my favorite is when they checking voltage to ground, dude. I'm like, let's let it go for a minute.
The
Like,
idea is to understand the reading, right? Like you got to understand what when you're on ohms and continuity, what
yeah,
understanding exactly what that is.
yeah, that voltage to ground gets you so many times because like it'll feed through a load. You only got one side, but you can check both sides to ground on a 120 volt element. You're 120 volts. Oh, I got power here. You got
Or you're dealing with a triac and they're grounding the common side rather than powering the hot side.
yeah. I'm like, there's all kinds of. I'm like, well, won't you check both terminals? That like, oh, I got 0 volts. Yeah, you don't have a neutral. Like, try to explain stuff like that. Like a high limit's trip. Most time on our systems, a high limit's going to trip like a neutral or one phase, and just to try to explain it that way. And then finally, when they finally get it, it's like, oh, okay. I'm like, I don't mind checking the voltage to ground to see if I have voltage, but that's not telling me if I have power to what I'm trying to power. That's just telling me I have voltage.
Yeah,
That's,
of some kinds.
yeah, yeah. It's not telling me the full story. And the stuff I work on is kind of wild though, because I'll have 120 volts, 24 volts AC, 12 volts AC, 12 volts DC, and like all the low voltage will use the chassis for ground. And I'm like, this gets like, and try to explain it to guys, and they're like, why does this transformer go to ground, and why is everything grounded? I'm like, well, they're using it's low voltage, so they can use a chassis for ground, and people start losing their mind.
There's good, there's good videos out there on electrical and the refrigeration circuit because those are probably the most understood.
Mhm.
Understanding it takes time too, but
Yeah.
go out and do the research. That's what I tell people. Like, have you searched YouTube for specifically what you're looking for? Because you'd be surprised at what comes up.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, it's just it's wild, man. We've got systems now and fryers that are 120 volts, 24 volts AC, 24 volts DC, 12 AC, DC, 5 volts DC, 3 volts DC. And like, like I don't know what I'm supposed to be checking here. And like, what voltage am I checking on what component? And generally, your 3 volts is all in the boards. And you don't really get into that too much. But
Yeah, no, it's different. I mean, we send analog signals and control, 0 to 10 volts
Mhm.
to our actuators for to 0 to 100%. You get feedback from them from that's 0 to 10 volts. Get humidity sensors are 4 to 20 milliamp. So knowing how to check all that and where it's supposed to be and what you should expect that's the tricky part.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild out there. Like you said though, look on YouTube. There's a lot of great information out there. Now, you may want to be careful. Some of the people you follow out there, because some of them can be a little. Um, I don't think they're purposely misleading, but I think some guys probably shouldn't have a YouTube channel. But that's the beauty of it. You're going to have to make sure you pay attention to what you're seeing.
They let any idiot on YouTube.
Oh yeah, it seems like the idiots get more follows than people like us get.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, there's good and bad. It's like anything. If you're learning from someone, I tell the guys too. You take the good and the bad. Like if you learn something from somebody that's good, great. But if you see them do something wrong, you got to learn from that as well.
Yeah, I don't know why my camera just shut off, but cool. We'll go to this one. It's a little scarier. um, my I think the battery died. I didn't have it plugged in. So yeah, YouTube's a great asset, man. I'm famous for telling everybody. People are like, well, how do you know everything? I'm like, oh, I don't know anything. I'm very good at looking up information. Like I know where to find information, man. Like if you can find information, you can fix anything in the world as long as you
Yeah,
can find that information. Like don't be scared to look online. Don't be scared to ask somebody. Don't be scared to ask a colleague. Don't be scared.
the guy, yeah, the guy who thinks he knows everything knows nothing.
Yeah, I mean, and most of you call these factory people, they're going to help you because guess what? Like you're the guy there fixing it, but that's their name on the side of that unit, and they don't want that name to have a bad name because if that name has a bad name, that customer's never going to buy that brand again. Just from one bad experience with someone working on something can ruin a relationship with a manufacturer, and they don't want that. So they want to help you. They want you to succeed. They want you to fix their unit. They want their unit running.
Yep, and most of them are there to help. Like I said, the tech supports there's some's better than others, something like that.
Yeah.
I like it.
So we got reliable. We got Adrian in here. He said, "Leave the trade better than you found it," or something like that. Good to see you, Adrian. Yeah,
Yep.
I just try to do it better, leave it better than I found it, man. It's not real hard.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea, right? Like, I mean, this trade's not for everybody,
Mhm.
but you're going to get out what you put in, just like anything in life. If you put in the work, you'll be all right, especially nowadays, because it doesn't take much. If you got a pulse and a decent attitude, you're going to be okay.
So, if someone stumbled across your YouTube channel or your social media and they asked you if they were 20 years old and they asked you, "Is this trade worth getting into it and how to get into it?" What would you tell them?
I'd tell them, hell yeah, especially now. Like, if you're willing to learn, you need to use all of the resources you have, especially nowadays. I didn't have all of this when I was younger. You couldn't go on YouTube and search, there wasn't a thing. So use the resources that are out there for you. There's a lot of good places, a lot of good information out there. Just go find it. If you go snap a picture throughout your day, and when you go home, spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's not that much. You can spend more than that. You're going to be a whole lot better off. But go try to learn something.
Yeah, I tell us all the time. Like I was self-taught refrigeration, man, and it was the hardest thing I ever did in my entire life. I thought I wanted to do refrigeration so damn bad, and then I started doing it. And I was like the first 3 years, I was like, what did I get myself into? Because I didn't do it all day every day. It was like hit or miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. Um, and luckily, I had a few people I could lean on. My dad and some of his friends I could lean on pretty hard. But that was
That That's the other thing. Yeah, that's the other thing we don't have enough now in the trade is people to lean on. I feel that a lot from the social media everywhere. It's like it's always questions like you should have someone to go to, that your boss or whoever, to ask a question and get a decent answer.
Yep. And so I struggled for years, and luckily I kind of figured it out. And then internet got big, and I started figuring it out more. I started listening to a lot of podcasts, watched a lot of YouTube videos, and it all just started making sense and clicking, and it was really cool. But yeah, like you said, right now is a golden time for somebody. I don't care how old you are. If you're 45, 50 and you want to get in this trade, I'm going to teach you. If you're 19, 18 years old, I'm going to teach you. I mean, I want people to succeed. I want people to get in this industry, because guess what? The more guys that are in this industry, the less hours I got to work.
That's right.
I'm to the point now where I don't need to work a million hours, and I'm ready to get some young blood in here. I'm pretty fortunate though. Where I'm at, I've got 3 techs that are under 22. My son's 22. One of his good friends just started a couple months ago. He's 22, and then I got my other son's 19. And it's really cool to see, because I remember being 35 years old and still being the youngest guy in my shop. I was like, man, this is wild. I'm 35 years old. I'm like, and I'm the youngest guy here. This is scary. And
Well, now, like I saw myself as the old guy. I'm 40. It's like they're all the old guys retired.
yeah, yep. I'm probably number 4 for age. I'm only beat by the young guys, so I guess I can handle that. I can handle that a little bit. So, but no, it's the golden age, man. There's a ton of information out there. These manufacturers are putting so much stuff online. They're hiding the important stuff, but there's a lot of training. You can call and ask a lot of these manufacturers. They'll point you to YouTube videos, or they'll point you to classes or seminars they have coming up. They don't they don't want people going in blind to their equipment. You know, like I said earlier, that's their name on the side of that piece of equipment. And if
I mean, it benefits everybody if you know how it works. You know what I mean? Like that's what I do with field support. It's like let us help you. We got documents. I got information. I'll throw some information at you.
So, what's your day-to-day role now? You talked a little bit about, your head of field support, but what do you do? I mean, are you still out in the field? You walk around the factory, checking stuff out there, or just a mix of everything?
A little mix of all that stuff, which it's been kind of cool. So I can I help our tech support guys out. Currently training 2 new tech support guys. We got an awesome team, a couple engineers on my team too, a lot of smart people. So I get to travel some, go to job sites, look at get right in front of the equipment. I get to play tech support sometimes. I get to walk through the factory and look at things and talk to the quality guys and say, hey, can we do this or that, or maybe we should try this. I get to work with our equipment controls guys, talking about the program, working on the program and improving the program, stuff like that. So a little bit of everything. It's keeping it interesting.
That's really cool, because that's a fear of mine. Like, I've had opportunities to work with some manufacturers, and like, oh, you're pretty much just gonna be on the phone or doing this. I'm like, man, I don't want to do that. Like, I still want to get out there. I still want to be relevant. And I feel like if I'm not out there doing it, I'm not going to be relevant. I know that's probably not the case, but if you go to work for a manufacturer like me, it'd be like one particular line, and they pretty much only make a couple of things. The manufacturer I was talking to, and it's just like, it's not. I don't know, like.
It's a big transition, but like it depends on the role too. But there's a lot of opportunities out there. I mean, that's the beauty of the trade, right? Especially now, everybody needs people. Even the manufacturers need people. There's so many facets and different areas you can go in the trade. So
yeah, that's what I tell guys all the time. Like, oh, you get to a point where you're sick of the hours, or your body can't handle it. Getting up and down the floor, or something happens, you can't do it anymore. Like, there's plenty of manufacturers out there that want guys that have experience working on their equipment to work the phones, and most of them can be remote. Like, you may have to go to wherever they're based at a couple times a year, but I guarantee when you get hired in, you go down there for training, they give you a computer and a phone and send you home, and they're transferring calls to you. I'm like,
once you understand the equipment, I mean, we like to have our guys in house. It helps everybody because our tech support guys don't always have the answer either. Like we're trying to solve the problem like the guy in the field. We've got the information, so we can share that information. We can pull it up and walk you through some things, but we need their help too. Like it helps when they have the information in front of them. It doesn't help when you call tech support and you haven't picked up your meter yet.
have you had the guy that calls tech support and doesn't know what a meter is, or like, oh yeah, I just got up on this roof and like, what am I looking at? Like, how do I like? Why are you there?
Some that are new to it, and a lot of times you can walk them through most things. Again, most of it's obvious. It's, your condenser is dirty, your fan motor is not running. It's just understanding where the signals come from, how it's supposed to work. You got to understand a general idea of how it works before you can start diagnosing it.
Yep. It's not brain surgery, as I tell everybody. It's not a rocket science. I mean, some of these things are pretty intimidating, but there's a lot harder things to do out there than fix AC or refrigeration.
Yeah. It can be intimidating though. You open some of these control panels and it's like, whoa, especially when you haven't seen one.
Yeah, I opened up one. It's like, why is there two VFDs in here? Like, why are these compressors hooked directly together? I'm like, what am I looking at here? And
digital scrolls, we get that call a lot because we use a lot of digital scrolls for capacity control on our stages. And this thing sounds weird. It's like making this noise every few seconds.
Okay, that's fine. It's just ramping up and down. It's doing its deal. A Copeland has a digital scroll with a VFD for R290. Like they're pushing, like they had it at AHR, and I made a video on it, and it didn't record. The sound didn't record, and I was so pissed off because it was really cool.
Copeland's got some good stuff. That's what we use, is Copeland scrolls. So the true variable will have a VFD on it, and the digital's just got the unloader. You'll have the digital scroll module, and it sends power to a solenoid. The smaller compressors have a solenoid that come directly off the top of it. And then the larger compressors, I think 10 or 11 tons and above, will have actually mounted on the side. And it just energizes that. That allows the scroll set to separate a few thousandths of an inch, and you get no compression. And then when it de-energizes, you get full compression. And then they do it on a timed cycle. So you use depending on the controller, you can do a 15 or a 20-second cycle. And so 20-second cycle, 10 seconds loaded, 10 seconds unloaded would be 50% capacity.
That's wild. I guess it's easier doing that than stopping and starting. Like, that's cool. That's neat. I haven't played around much of that stuff, and that's cool.
There's a lot of interesting stuff out there. I've got information for you. You hit me up, man. I got you.
Yeah, we could talk about that forever. I'm always fascinated by watching other people's work and like what they work on. I get like, I could do that. I want to do that. Like plumbers and just all other trades. I started out as an electrician, so that doesn't really faze me too much. But like watching some of these plumbers and these guys that are heavy HVAC guys or chiller guys and stuff. I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'm like, oh, we'll hire you. Like, I don't want to start over, man. I'm at a point where I make way too much money to be starting over in life.
It's hard when you get to a certain point to start over or do something different, and I know the feeling.
All right, man. We were coming up on an hour. I really appreciate you coming on, talking about what you've done in the industry and what you're trying to do as far as YouTube and help the next generation of techs and not leave guys feel like they're stranded out there. You want them to learn, you want them to adapt, you want them to succeed.
That's right. Appreciate you having me.
It's really cool to see people like that. And I've doing this for a couple of years now, I've run across a ton of great people that just they want to share that information. Like there's no reason to gatekeep it. I remember when I first started, there was guys that wanted to gatekeep. Oh, I don't want to tell anybody how to do this, because if someone else does it, then I don't get paid as much, or then I don't do it, or whatever, and they freak out. But
makes your life easier. Teach them everything you can.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. Like if this guy can do this, I'm not the only guy that can do this. Like today I worked on a Carlin grill, and like I'm like one of the only guys in my branch that does it. And like a couple guys been to training, but they don't ever do it. I'm like, send them with me so I can show them. Like I'm sick of being the only guy that can do these. Like I love working on them because they're fun and challenging, but like you paid to have these guys trained. Let's use that. Let's like recoup some of that money. Let's get some of these other guys, because guess what? I go on a lot of trips. I travel for the show and a lot of stuff and some other things I do. And like sometimes customers got to wait for a week for me to come back, and that can be unacceptable to some of these customers.
Yep, you got to be there, and it's one of those things, man. There's a lot of opportunities out there. If you're young, you want to get in the trade, go do it now. Mm-hmm. This is the place to be, and share that knowledge.
All right, well, tell everybody where they can find you. I'm sure most of these people already know where you're at, but we will tag you in everything on social media when it comes out, audio and then the teasers and stuff. But let everybody know where they can find you at, Steve.
Everything HVACR. It's on every platform. Hit me up. Find my email. Shoot me an email, and I ain't hard to find.
Sweet, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Have a good night, buddy.
Thank you too.